The film opens with Ava abruptly waking up in the middle of the night, haunted by memories of her father's death 12 years earlier. At the age of 14, Ava witnessed two intruders break into their home and murder her father. The traumatic event plunged her into a rough life, battling alcohol and drug addiction. Despite her struggles, Ava often reminisces about her father, who, despite his criminal background in Connecticut, taught her martial arts to defend herself against potential threats. After successfully emerging from her dark past, Ava marries Derek Grant, whom she first met at a Narcotics Anonymous meeting. Derek, coming from an affluent family, faces skepticism from his father, Robert, who doubts Ava due to their lack of knowledge about her past. Despite this, Derek defends Ava, convincing his parents of her good character. Eventually, Derek and Ava marry in Arlington. Sometime later, they embark on their honeymoon to a Caribbean island, where Derek's family owns a summer home. Upon arriving at Derek's family home on the beach, they see a row of photos of Derek at the age of 3 with his mother, who passed away a few years ago. Shortly after, Ava and Derek immerse themselves in their honeymoon, enjoying various activities around the island, from fishing and water sports to island tour. The next day, the newlyweds visit a restaurant where they meet Manny, a young local who works as a tour guide. Manny invites Ava and Derek to ride Elvador, a mile-long zip line in the island's hills managed by his friend. Intrigued by the adventure, they eagerly agree to try it. Ava and Derek accept Manny's offer. That evening, Manny takes the newlyweds to a nightclub on the island to have some fun. While they are dancing and enjoying the music, Big Biz, the local gangster leader, notices Ava and tries to flirt with her. Derek steps in to stop Big Biz, but his warnings are ignored, and Big Biz insists on dancing with Ava. This leads to a confrontation. Manny attempts to intervene, but his efforts are in vain as Big Biz becomes enraged and ends up hitting Derek. Outraged by Big Biz's treatment of her husband, Ava is forced to use the self-defense skills her father taught her. At that moment, Derek and Manny are stunned by Ava's actions, and on the way home, Manny continues to discuss it. The next morning, Manny meets Derek and Ava at their house and informs them that Big Biz and his henchmen are coming to seek revenge for the previous night's incident. Derek and Ava are shocked by the news until Manny bursts out laughing and admits he was just joking. He explains he came that morning to take them to the zipline location in the forest. Upon arriving, Ava, who has a fear of heights, hesitates, but after Derek and Manny reassure her, she finally gathers the courage to try it. Unexpectedly, Ava finds that ziplining isn't as scary as she thought. Manny then invites them to a more challenging zipline location. To reach it, they have to travel a mile, but their excitement for the adrenaline-pumping activity keeps them motivated. Upon arrival, Derek is the first to go. However, before he reaches the end, the rope supporting him suddenly breaks, leaving him hanging precariously on the zipline cable. Ava panics as she sees her husband in danger, while Manny attempts a rescue. Unfortunately, the limited rescue equipment prevents Manny from saving Derek, who eventually falls into the forest below. Without hesitation, Ava runs into the forest to find her husband. She is shocked to discover Derek unconscious with a broken leg. Additionally, she realizes that the money Derek was carrying has disappeared, making her suspect that something is amiss with his accident. On the other hand, Manny immediately contacts an ambulance to evacuate Derek to the hospital. When Ava intends to accompany her husband, one of the ambulance personnel, named Omar, prevents her from entering, citing local medical procedures. Omar hands her a business card for the hospital where Derek will receive treatment. With no other options and deeply worried about her husband, Ava borrows a motorcycle to follow the ambulance. Unfortunately, in the middle of the journey, Ava has an accident, delaying her arrival at the hospital. Panicked, Ava inquired about Derek's treatment room, but the hospital receptionist informed her that there was no patient by that name. Ava then attempted to locate her husband at another hospital, but no facility had Derek registered as a patient. Suspicious of the situation, Ava reported Derek's disappearance to the police, urging them to investigate his whereabouts. Panicked, Ava inquired about Derek's treatment room, but the hospital receptionist informed her that there was no patient by that name. Ava then attempted to locate her husband at another hospital, but no facility had Derek registered as a patient. Suspicious of the situation, Ava reported Derek's disappearance to the police, urging them to investigate his whereabouts. The following day, upon hearing about Derek's disappearance, Robert Derek's father and Sandy Derek's sister flew to the Caribbean island to support Ava. Together, they went to the police station to inquire about the progress of the investigation into Derek's kidnapping. They met Chief Roman Garza, who would oversee the case. After Ava recounted all the details of Derek's incident, including the disappearance of the money he carried after the accident, Chief Garza remarked that the island was known for harboring dangerous criminals. It was not uncommon for these criminals to target wealthy tourists like Derek in hopes of extracting more money. Shortly after, Chief Garza, Ava, and the others visited the zipline location where Derek had the accident. During the interrogation of an employee, they discovered that the employee had lied about being present at the location when the accident occurred. This revelation infuriated Ava, leading her to the brink of attacking the dishonest employee right there. Ren immediately intervened to stop Ava. When they returned to the police station, he showed Ava a video of her altercation at the nightclub the previous night. He suggested that her involvement with the dangerous gang from the nightclub might have led to Derek's kidnapping by gang members seeking revenge against her. Later on, Ava started distributing Derek's picture and inquiring about him at various residences on the island. Unfortunately, her efforts were fruitless as no one admitted to seeing Derek. Meanwhile, Robert, upon learning that Ava's actions might have caused Derek's disappearance, demands compensation from her. This accusation leaves Ava feeling deeply saddened and enraged, believing she is unjustly blamed for her husband's disappearance. Ava decides to take matters into her own hands and begins her investigation into Derek's case. Her first step is to confront Joni at the zipline location in the forest. When Joni continues to refuse to tell the truth, Ava takes decisive action and ties him up, threatening to drop him into the forest just as Derek experienced. Panicked, Joni confesses to his lies. Ava records Joni's confession on video while interrogating him, coaxing him to reveal what really happened to Derek. With Joni's confession in hand, Ava heads straight to the police station and presents the video to Chief Roman Garza, urging him to arrest the perpetrators behind Derek's accident. Surprisingly, Chief Roman Garza ordered his subordinates to arrest Ava on charges of assaulting Joni in order to coerce the zipline employee into admitting his role. Additionally, he requested Ava be deported from the island. Sometime later, Ava was spotted on a ship, handcuffed alongside a police officer who would oversee her deportation. During the lengthy journey, Ava requested permission to use the bathroom. The police officer agreed but insisted on accompanying her to ensure she wouldn't attempt to escape. Ava agreed to go to the bathroom with the police officer. Once inside, Ava unexpectedly attacked the officer, rendering him unconscious. She swiftly seized the keys to unlock her handcuffs and escaped without hesitation. Jumping into the sea, Ava swam back to the Caribbean island where Derek had disappeared. That night, Ava headed to the nightclub she had visited with Derek to track down Manny. Upon finding him, Ava confronted and interrogated Manny about Derek's disappearance. At that moment, Manny claimed he knew nothing about the case but assured Ava he would help find her husband. Reluctantly, Ava agreed, aware she was now a fugitive on the island. Manny took the initiative to hide her at his house, introducing her to his mother and brother. After settling in, Ava and Manny strategized on investigating Derek's disappearance. Manny suggested they locate Omar and other ambulance drivers to uncover the mastermind behind Derek's abduction. The next day, Manny brought Ava to an area known as a gathering place for gangsters on the island to gather information about Omar. Unfortunately, their search yielded no significant information until Ava spotted a flyer bearing the same symbol as a tattoo on the hand of an ambulance driver who had transported Derek. They quickly traced the logo to a fighting venue and rushed there. Upon arrival, Manny instructed Ava to remain in the car while he entered the venue to locate the ambulance driver. Meanwhile, Ava observed the driver leaving the fighting venue and getting into a car with a girl. Curious and determined, Ava clandestinely followed them. She trailed them to an empty building where Ava confronted the driver, threatening him to reveal what happened to Derek. When the driver hesitated, Ava resorted to physical force until he divulged everything he knew, eventually causing him to lose consciousness. After using the driver's phone to call Omar to their location, Ava waited impatiently until Omar, concerned about his colleague, arrived. Ava confronted him angrily, throwing Omar to the ground in her fury. In the heat of the moment, she killed him. Ava's actions led to her being captured by the police once again, blamed for the chaos on the island. As she sat in the police car, initially believing she was being taken to the station, Ava realized midway that the police were instead planning to kill her in the forest. When they stopped and began digging a grave for her, Ava, still handcuffed, managed to free herself quietly and turned the tables on the officers, killing them instead. Later on, Chief Roman Garza received a startling call from Ava, instructing him to enter his daughter's room. Upon entering, Roman was shocked to find Ava there, having snuck in and now pointing a gun at his sleeping daughter, leaving him trapped in at her mercy. Raymond finally confessed that Derek had died in the operating room on the day of the accident. He revealed that he covered up the incident because he owed a debt to Dr. Elbar, the surgeon in charge of Derek's operation, who had saved Raymond's daughter's life in the past. Overwhelmed with guilt towards Ava and Derek, Raymond decided to leave bloody footprints on the floor, a symbolic gesture that Ava later discovered upon leaving his house. Devastated by the truth of Derek's death, Ava returned to Manny's house in tears. Manny tried his best to comfort her during this difficult time. The next morning, fueled by a desire for revenge, Ava went to the hospital entrance where she attacked and killed the receptionist who had lied to her previously. She then placed the receptionist's body in the trunk of her car and took her ID card. Using the ID card, Ava gained access to Dr. Elbar's room. There, she confronted him, wrapping his face with a plastic bag as she demanded to know what had happened to Derek's body. Elbar then urged Ava to view the surveillance camera footage, revealing Derek alive and in a wheelchair with Sylvia Lugo, a gangster, and his henchmen. They had taken Derek to the operating room. Determined to save Derek, Ava disguised herself as a nurse and managed to enter the operating room. Once inside, Ava discovered the hospital's plan to extract Derek's spinal marrow for Sylvia's cancer treatment. Just as the operation was about to begin, Ava brandished her gun and took Derek away from the room, with Sylvia Lugo's henchmen in hot pursuit. They dashed through the hospital, finally making it out through an emergency exit. However, their escape was short-lived as Sylvia and his henchmen surrounded them outside. In a bold move, Ava seized Sylvia as a hostage and demanded safe passage out of the hospital. Sylvia threatened retaliation against Ava but eventually leapt out of the car to join his pursuing henchmen. With Manny guiding her via text messages, Ava skillfully evaded Sylvia's gang and rendezvoused with Manny, who sheltered them in a nearby village. Soon after, Sylvia tracked them down to the village and interrogated residents to locate Ava and Derek. The gangsters swiftly surrounded the house where Manny and the others were hiding. Without hesitation, Ava and Derek fought back, taking down each gangster who approached. The confrontation escalated until Ava faced Sylvia directly. A crowd of residents gathered to witness the showdown. As the tension mounted, the police arrived on the scene. Ava had already subdued Silvio and handed him over, requesting his arrest. Silvio, aware of the situation, urged the police to take him into custody, having already bribed them. Moments later, Big Biz arrived, urging everyone to avoid actions that could harm the island's tourism, crucial for the residents' livelihoods. He persuaded Ava to relinquish the knife she held against Silvio. Reluctantly, she handed it over. In a stunning turn, Big Biz used the knife to fatally strike Silvio in front of the gathered crowd. He then instructed Ava and Derek to leave the island immediately, ensuring the police would escort them safely off the island, doubling the bribe Silvio had paid. It was a dramatic and unexpected resolution, leaving Ava and Derek to depart under the watchful eye of both grateful and wary residents. In the film's conclusion, Ava and Derek depart the Caribbean island aboard a speedboat, reflecting on their tumultuous journey. The moral of the story emerges: always ensure your zipline gear is secure before embarking on an adventure, or risk finding yourself in a tangled situation. And if a gangster requests your knife, it's best to comply and hope they use it for mundane purposes, like cutting a sandwich.